Alrighty, welcome if you are at home. Getting started a couple minutes early, but that's all right. If you joined in late, just scroll back to the beginning. We've already been working on our warm-up problems. Everybody's almost all the way done, so we won't spend long on it. If you need more time, just pause the video on this screen, and when you're done with the warm-up problems, let it play again. But everybody that's here, let's make sure we're getting our stuff done. I know most of you said you were already all the way done, but I see a couple that haven't finished. So I'm going to give you just another quick minute or two, and then we will get going with the lesson. I think so. You think so? We're not doing it like yesterday. We're not doing the pages. I forgot to send them out, so we're not going to do it today. I didn't really like them. Fine. No, just. All right, looks like we're all ready now, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Right, let's start up here on the blue side today. The expanded form, remember our pinch apart numbers that we've been talking about a lot lately. Okay, so if I've got 763, how can I break that up? Okay, let's do it the normal way. How would I break it up the normal way? Okay. What goes in my ones place? Peyton? Ones place. 3. Okay. And then next door in my tens place, Ellery? Very nice. And then that last box, the hundreds place, Eli? 7. Is it just 7? Somebody help him out. What goes in the hundreds place, Braxton? 700. Remember, when we do these pinch apart numbers, we want to do it like we're saying it really slow. 763. I don't say 763. I say 700. Okay. That number is not just a 7. It's in the hundreds place, so we got to add those 2 zeros. All right. And then 355. What goes? We'll start this way. We'll start in the hundreds place. Try it again, Eli. 300. Now you got it. And then the next one, Amelie. 50. And our last box, Ellery? 5. Okay. 355. Very good. A couple of easy problems. Okay. Think about our 10 pairs. What goes together? 10, 4, and what's the other number, Braxton? 6. 10, 3, and what's the other number? Braxton again, I guess. 7. 10, 2, and 8. And then 10, 1, and what, Isaac? 9. Okay. Notice that this side is going up by 1. So this side's going down by 1. Because we're using 10 every time. Over here to our odds and evens. Okay. Lots of different answers. Let's see, Isaac, what did you put for your odd number box up top? 6. What'd you say? 1. Okay, that's definitely not a number. And then I see the alligator mouth is facing the even side. Does that mean I need a bigger even number or a smaller even number, Peyton? Bigger. So what can I use? Go ahead, Peyton. 6, that works. 6 is bigger than 1. And then they're both even on the bottom, but I gotta make sure I feed my alligator, keep him happy. Emily, stop. What can I put in the first box, Ellery? 16. And the alligator wants to eat the 16, so I need something smaller. Gracie? An even number. Ooh, even number. 3's odd. 2. That'll work. Okay, nice job. Could have had a lot of different numbers on those, just as long as it was even or odd, depending on which box it is. And then make sure the alligator mouth faces the right way. Then over to our stack problems. Let's look on this side first. I've got 7 plus 1 there. Who can help me with that? Braxton? 8. And then 7 plus 2, Ellery? 9. So I get 98. And 34 plus 52. What's the whole thing, Eli? Not 89. I agree with the 80 part. What's 4 plus 2? Peyton? 86. Okay. You might have put 2. If you put a 5 there instead of a 2, you would have got 89. Maybe that's what you did. All right. Any questions on any of the warm-up problems? All right. And let's scroll down. Okay. So yesterday we did a bunch of those problems where it had those charts. Okay. And we were talking about how we could count by tens. Okay. If it was going up on this side, or going down on this side, then it was going up on this side. Okay. For example, that would be for 30. So one thing I want us to notice, okay, because today we're going to talk about counting patterns. Okay. We know that this is going up by 10 every time over here if I go down this way. What do you notice keeps popping up in all these numbers? Zeros. In what place? In the ones place. Okay. The reason that keeps happening, okay, let's look at 10. Okay. We've got our 10s and we've got our 1s. What is in the ones place on 10? 0. So anytime we're adding or taking away 10, that ones place will never ever change. Okay? Whether it's like 30 and we kept that 0 every time, or even if we have 2 in the ones place. Okay, if I count by 10, I'm going to change the tens place by 1, but this 2 will stay the same in the ones place. Okay, the reason that happens, if I stack it up and add it, okay, that 2 adds to the 0, and then I add my 10. If I add another 10, that 2 stays the same, and then I go to the next 10. If I add another 10, the 2 stays the same, and I go to the next 10. Okay. If we're adding by tens, we don't change the ones place. Even if it's not 0, it stays the same. Okay. So let's practice that. If I start on 14, okay, and I'm counting by tens, what are my next 2 numbers? If I'm counting by tens, put plus 10 down here for you. Maybe. If I have plus 10 down there, how do I go up from 14? What comes next, Braxton? 24. Okay, you're going to say the 4 every time. And then 34. Help me keep going. Help me keep going. 44. And then we go down to 54, 64, 74, 84. Okay, and we can keep going. 94. Go all the way up to 104, but we're going to stop there because I don't really care about going over 100. Okay. When we're adding by tens, okay, we're doing skip counting with tens. Every single number is going to have the same one spot. Okay? And we've talked about this before, and you probably noticed it back in first grade. Okay? Is anybody confused on why that 4 kept popping up? Yeah, because 14, the first number, had 4 ones, so it's going to stay 4 ones. We just changed the tens. Okay, think about it this way. If I started with 1 stick and 4 ones, okay, 4 little cubies, am I ever going to add more cubies if I'm adding by 10? No, I'm just going to keep adding sticks. Okay, those 4 cubies will stay the same no matter how many sticks I add, even if I go up to over 100. Okay, it'll always end with the 4. Okay. So now we talked about counting by tens. Let's talk about counting by 5s. Okay, if I'm going up by 5s, okay, because there's another rule that can help you count by 5s. Okay, let's do just our normal counting by 5s. Okay, we'll start at 0. You guys help me out. 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. We'll stop there. Okay. Does anybody see a pattern in the ones place on counting by 5s? Eli, what do you think you see? They're all 0s and 5s. Every single ones place on this list has 0s and 5s. Okay. The pattern that we have when we count by 5s, it'll always have 2 numbers in the one spot. Okay. Those numbers change depending on where you start. Okay. So if I started on 1, okay, what's 1 plus 5? 6. And then what's 6 plus 5? Peyton? 11. Notice what happened already. See how those ones are the same? So what do you think is going to come next? 16. And then I just had a 6. So I need a 1 at the end. Go up to the 20s. Now I got to go to the 30s. It's time for a 1 again. Okay. When you're counting by 5s, you'll flip-flop between those 2 ones places. Okay. So no matter where we start, so on the top one, the red, we started on 0, so we had 0, 5, 0, 5, 0, 5. The purple, we started on 1, so it was 1, 6, 1, 6, 1, 6. But what if we start on 33? Right? What would be my next number? Oh, you're going by 10. I'm going to go by 5. Here. We're going to stay in the 30s. What's 3 plus 5? 8. Okay. So what are our 2 numbers going to be for starting on 3? 3 and 8. And then we just keep going on our pattern. We'll have 2 numbers in the 40s, 2 numbers in the 50s. And we keep going. The reason there's always 2 numbers in the 30s, 2 in the 50s, 2 in the 40s. Okay, think about it. Hold up both your hands with all your fingers. Okay, that makes 10, right? So you can fit 5 into 10 2 times. So 30, that's one of our 10 numbers. You can fit it 5 in there twice. 38 and 33. 40s, you can fit 43 and 48. You'll always be able to fit 2 in there when you're counting by 5. So let's have you guys try that. We'll start all the way up at 64. I want you guys to give me the next 4 numbers. I want you guys to write this one down. Give me those next 4 numbers. So do the first one. Okay. You'll probably have to count it out on your hand or think about it and add in your head. Once you figure out the first two numbers, just start slowly thinking about your pattern. Careful not to go up by 10. All right, let's help everybody out. What's the very next number going up by 5? Braxton? Do 69. Okay, that's 4 plus 5 is 9. So you have your pattern now. Okay, I'll go 4. And then I go, oh, that's a bad color for that. That's better. Okay, I know I'm going to go 4, 9, 4, 9, 4, 9. Peyton, are you looking up at the screen? I'm counting by 10s. Make sure you have 2 60 numbers. You should have 2 70 numbers. Tyler. Well, let's go through our pattern here. Okay? So we had both of our 60 numbers, so I know I need to go to 70. And then thinking about what the ones place, what's it time for? 4 or 9? I just had a 9, so I don't want to have another 9. I'm going to switch back to 74. And then 79. And then 84. Right. How are we feeling? Thumb up, thumb sideways, thumb down. How do we feel about counting by 5s with that pattern? As I know you guys can start at 0 and count by 5s, but I want you to be able to count by 5s anywhere. Okay. Mostly thumbs up or thumb sideways. Right. We can work on that some other time. Let's keep moving. The last number I want to focus on counting by. Let's think about our 2s. Okay. Counting by 2s. And this, if you know your even and odd numbers, will be really easy. Okay. So let's just start at counting by 2 from 0 and see what we find out. Okay. So count with me by 2s. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. We'll stop there. Okay. What do we notice about the ones place on all of these? This might be a little trickier to see. What do you notice about the ones place on all of these? What kind of number is 0? Odd or even? Even. What kind of number is 2? What kind of number is 4? So what's happening every time? They're all even. Okay. Remember a long time ago we talked about if you add 2 even numbers together, you'll always get another even number. Okay. So if you're counting by 2, 2's an even number. If you start on any even number, then you're just counting by your evens. Okay. So say I want to start on 34. Is that an even number? Yes. So if I'm counting by 2, I should always stay even. Okay. So what's the next even number after 34? 36. And then 38. And 40. 32. You guys doing good. 44. Okay. Does that make sense? You guys seem to pick that up pretty well. Okay. Lots of thumbs up there. Now, that was if we add two even numbers together. So what if we start on an odd number? Let's start on 1 and then count by 2s. Okay. So it'd be 1, then 3. Okay, keep adding 2. 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. Okay, we'll stop there. What do we notice now? What happened to all of these numbers? They're all odd numbers this time, okay? If we start on an odd number, they're going to stay odd when we count by 2, okay? That doesn't happen with 5s and 10s, okay? Well, I guess for 10s, it stays the same because it's the same number in the one spot. The 5 will flip-flop every time. If I go back up here real quick, okay, 3 was odd, then 8 was even, and 3 was odd, then 8 was even. Okay, it'll flip-flop on 5. But if we're adding 2s, okay, if we're doing +2 every time for every jump, if we start on an odd number, they need to stay odd. Okay, so let's try starting on 73. We'll go big. Okay, what's the next odd number after 73? 70, 75, 77, 79, up to 81. What's next? Isaac? 83. Yeah, good. Okay. Are the even and odds counting with your 2s? Does that pattern, seems like you guys see that a little better? That makes sense? Thumb up, thumb sideways, thumb down? Mostly up and sideways? Okay. Alrighty. These are just some patterns that will help you if I ever give you a blank pattern like we have on our morning work a lot of times, or sometimes in our warm-up problems. Okay. If you look to see if it's odd or even, or if you look to see if there's that back and forth pattern for 5s, okay, or if you notice that the 1's place is staying the same every time, okay, it'll help you figure out what that pattern is. Okay, these are just some more tools so we can figure out what our patterns are for when we're skip counting. Okie doke. All right, and let's go ahead and pop on over to IXL. We're not going to do pattern counting again today. We're going back to some review stuff. So if mine decides to load. Yeah, no, we're not. What we learned today is not what our IXL is about. I'm going to give you a break from it. Okay, we're going to go down to M again. They're still talking about place value. And this one shouldn't take us too long. We're going to do M6. So what it's going to ask you every time, it's going to give you a digit it wants to look like, or to look at. Okay, so this time it's that 8. Okay, it's underlined. And it wants to know how much is that 8 really worth. So is that 8 worth 8, 80, or 800? Okay, why is it just worth 8? What place is it in? The 1's place, so it's just worth 8. What about that 7 there in the middle? How much is that one worth, Amelie? 70, because it's in the 10's place. Okay, real quick. I'll come help in a second. Okay, so you guys see what you're doing on this one? Okay. I don't think it'll get too high or too tough on these. We'll try to get it done really quick. Yep. Some of you guys are already a chunk of the way there. All right, but you guys don't have any questions here? All righty. I'll give you guys some quiet work time. Everybody at home, thanks for hopping on and watching. Hi. Who said I was done? All right, guys, I never said I was done. All right, now I'm done. You guys can say bye.